The arch-rivals introducing Captain Fluffbutt and Sir Meow's Allot. Captain Fluffbutt, a corgi with boundless energy, lived life at 100 miles an hour, except when napping. Sir Meow's Allot, a sophisticated Persian, preferred contemplative silence, broken only by the occasional haughty meow. Their human, blissfully unaware, left them to their own devices. Big mistake. Captain Fluffbutt, tail wagging furiously, eyed Sir Meow's Allot, who sat perched atop the fridge, an image of disdainful elegance. Their rivalry was the stuff of legend, a whirlwind of fur and feathers, always ending in a stalemate. Today, however, felt different. The air crackled with anticipation. Sir Meow's Allot narrowed his eyes, tail twitching with annoyance. Captain Fluffbutt was a nuisance, a furry tornado disrupting his meditation. He longed for the days before Captain Fluffbutt, back when the house resonated with peace, not the incessant barking of a hyperactive canine. Today, Sir Meow's Allot decided, he would teach the corgi a lesson. He would unleash his ultimate weapon, the stare of utter indifference. It had worked on the vacuum cleaner, it had worked on the mailman, it would surely work on Captain Fluffbutt. The battle began, as most epic battles do, in the kitchen. Captain Fluffbutt, unable to contain his excitement for dinner, bounced around the room like a furry pinball. Sir Meow's Allot, strategically positioned on the countertop, eyed the approaching storm with calculated aloofness. A misplaced paw sent a dishcloth tumbling to the floor. Captain Fluffbutt, ever the opportunist, mistook it for a chew toy. This, Sir Meow's Allot decided, was his chance. He launched himself from the counter, a furry missile aimed directly at the unsuspecting corgi. Captain Fluffbutt, momentarily disoriented by the dishcloth draped over his head, yelped in surprise as Sir Meow's Allot landed squarely on his back. The impact sent a bag of flour flying, enveloping both animals in a cloud of white. The kitchen, once a haven of culinary delights, now resembled a battlefield. Flour coated every surface, creating a slippery, treacherous landscape. The air hung heavy with the smell of baking, a strange juxtaposition to the canine-feline war raging beneath. Blinded by the flour, both animals stumbled and shook, trying to regain their bearings. Captain Fluffbutt, ever the optimist, saw the humor in the situation and let out a bark that sounded suspiciously like a laugh. Sir Meow's Allot, dignity ruffled, hissed in indignation, the flour clinging to his whiskers like a bad disguise. The battle commenced in earnest. Captain Fluffbutt, fueled by kibble and unbridled enthusiasm, charged headfirst into the fray. Sir Meow's Allot, agile and cunning, dodged and weaved, delivering swift paw strikes to Captain Fluffbutt's nose. Each swipe of the paw was met with a playful yelp from Captain Fluffbutt, who seemed to view the entire ordeal as a grand game. He rolled on his back, enticing Sir Meow's Allot into a wrestling match, their limbs a blur of fur and flour. The kitchen echoed with the sounds of their playful battle, the clatter of paws on linoleum, the soft thumps of bodies colliding, the occasional exasperated hiss from Sir Meow's Allot, who was beginning to regret choosing this particular battlefield. Section 4. Interruptions and mayhem. The hamster joins the fray. Suddenly, a new player entered the fray. Chunk, the hamster, usually content to observe the world from his cage, had escaped during the commotion. He zipped across the battlefield, a tiny furry comet leaving a trail of flour in his wake. Chunk, mistaking the bag of spilled kibble for an unexplored mountain range, scrambled to the top, stuffing his cheeks with as much food as he could carry. He perched precariously on the peak, tiny paws clutching a kibble twice his size, looking for all the world like a furry little king surveying his domain. Captain Fluffbutt, distracted by the sight of his tiny housemate boldly claiming his kibble, paused mid-pounce. Sir Meow's Allot, momentarily forgetting his animosity towards the corgi, stared at the hamster in disbelief. Even in the midst of battle, there was a limit to their chaos, and Chunk had just crossed it. The hamster, oblivious to the silent truce he had brokered, let out a triumphant squeak and took a giant bite of his kibble, showering the cat and dog with crumbs. This, it seemed, was the final straw. Section 5. The tables turn. A shocking revelation. The sound of the front door opening cut through the chaos. Both animals froze, their playful fight forgotten. Their human was home. With a speed that defied their species, Captain Fluffbutt and Sir Meow's Allot scrambled to disentangle themselves. each attempting to appear as innocent and uninvolved in the kitchen carnage as possible. Captain Fluffbutt, with impressive agility for a dog his size, managed to wedge himself between the sofa cushions, leaving only a telltale tuft of flour-coated fur visible. Sir Meows-a-Lot, ever the master of discretion, vanished into the shadows beneath the kitchen table, his white dusted coat blending seamlessly with the flour-covered floor. Their human, none the wiser, entered the kitchen with a tired sigh. "Whoa!" she exclaimed, surveying the scene with a mixture of amusement and resignation. "Looks like a flour bomb exploded in here. You two haven't been up to mischief again, have you?" Captain Fluffbutt, from his hiding place, let out a muffled bark that could be interpreted as a denial. Sir Meows-a-Lot, maintaining his silence, closed his eyes, feigning sleep. Their human, shaking her head, reached for the broom, Section 6. Truce and Reconciliation, the Power of Friendship, and Snacks. The cleanup operation commenced. Captain Fluffbutt, released from his sofa prison, watched with guilt-ridden eyes as their human swept up the remnants of their battle. Sir Meows-a-Lot, emerging from the shadows, pretended to assist, batting at stray kibble with a nonchalant air. As the last of the flour disappeared into the trash, their human produced a bag of treats. "Who wants a reward for being such good sports about the flour explosion?" she asked, her voice laced with laughter. Captain Fluffbutt, unable to contain his excitement, wagged his tail so hard his entire body swayed. Sir Meows-a-Lot, purring softly, rubbed against their human's leg, accepting his treat with a dignified air. For a brief moment their rivalry was forgotten, replaced by a shared love of snacks and the comfortable familiarity of their shared home. The kitchen, once a battleground, was now a haven of peace and contentment. The aroma of baking cookies filled the air, a sweet reminder that even the most epic of battles could end in truce, especially when treats were involved. Section 7. A Comedy of Errors, the Final Laugh. Just as their human left the kitchen, carrying the now empty treat bag, a tiny, flour-covered figure emerged from behind the sugar jar. Chunk, his cheeks bulging with stolen kibble, let out a victorious squeak. Captain Fluffbutt and Sir Meows-a-Lot exchanged weary glances. The hamster, it seemed, had emerged from the battle the true victor. Their human, none the wiser, continued about her evening, unaware of the epic comedy of errors that had just unfolded in her kitchen. The camera pans out, leaving the audience with a final glimpse of the three furry companions, each with their own unique brand of chaos, forever bound together in a world of playful mayhem and unexpected adventures. The end? Not likely. With these three, the fun had only just begun.